Hello, this is Miss Plata once again. First of all, dear students, thank you for tuning in to MCS TV. We are so happy you watch your teachers every time you can. This is not easy for us. You know, teachers are not actors, but we're doing this because we want to do what we know best, teaching you, and we pretend that you're just right there in front of us. Okay, so this is sixth grade math. We are going to solve percent problems. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, let's identify the parts in a percent problem. Okay, what are there to look for before we solve each problem? In a percent problem, we need to know if the part is there. Okay, so let's read. 5 of the 25 girls on Alden Middle School soccer team are seventh grade students. Okay, 5 of the 25 girls. So from that phrase alone, you can tell that the 25 girls is the whole thing, and 5 is part of that whole thing. Okay, and then you continue reading. It says find the percentage of seventh graders on the team. So that's a giveaway from the word percentage. That's what we're looking for. So these are the, sorry, let's go back. So these are what we need to look for in a given word problem. It's the part there, it's the whole there, it's the percent there, because that tells you what you are looking for. So using this same problem, okay, I am going to teach you several strategies in solving percent problems. Okay, in mathematics there is more than one way to solve a word problem. So I'm going to give you 4 strategies so that later on you can choose which one is best for you. Okay, that which one is you are going to be confident using to solve the problem. So we're going to use this same word problem that we just read. Let's read it again. 5 of the 25 girls on Alden Middle School soccer team are 7th grade students. Find the percentage of 7th graders on the team. So it says here, show 2 different ways of solving for the answer. So let's start with one way. It is called the tape diagram. Okay, so I'm sure you are very familiar with tape diagram because we do that a lot in school. Okay, here's my tape. It says the whole thing is 25. So this is 25 girls. And 5 of the 25 are 7th graders. So if that part is 5, how many parts is my tape going to be if I have 25? So 25 divided by 5 is 5. So I need 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that would be 5 here, 5. So each part is 5. So what are they saying? 5 of the 25 are 7th graders. But that is not the question. The question is find the percent. So with my tape diagram, let me just move this here so that we have a space. Using the same length, but this time we are going to represent this whole thing, not 25, but 100%. Because you see, that 25 is the whole thing. In percent, whole thing is 100%. So if I have 5 parts there, how much is each part? So how do we know that? There are 5 units here, okay, in this tape, and that 5 units equals 100. So I want to know what is 1 unit. So 1 unit would be, if the whole thing is 100 and there are 5 parts, then each part is 20%. So this is 20%. This is 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. So look at our illustration. That 5 girls, 20%. Look at the question. Find the percentage of 7th graders on the team. What did it say? 7th grade students are 5 out of 25. So the percentage of 7th graders on the team is 20%. Okay? What do you think about tape diagram? Do you think that's something you would do confidently? Okay. So it says show 2 different ways. So that's one way. Okay. So let me erase this and let's find another way. Another way is called a double line diagram. Okay. So I need a line. Couldn't see that. Here. Double line. 1, 2 lines. Okay. So we'll just say 100%. This line. Okay. This is the number of girls. Okay. On this side, what do we know? The whole thing is 25. So 25 is the total number of girls. That whole thing is represented as the 100%. Okay? So what do we know? We know that 5 of the girls are 7th graders. And from the previous tape diagram, so that we can cut to the chase, this is 20%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 40, 60, 80, all the way to 100%. Remember our tape diagram before? We divided into 5 parts. So we're going to do the same thing on here. Okay, this is 10, 15, 20, 25. So look, 5 of the 25 girls represents 20% of the 7th graders. So what do you think about double line diagram? Do you think that's something you would do confidently? All right. So let's look at another example. Okay. This is still about the girls at Alden Middle School. Let's read it. Of the 25 girls on the Alden Middle School soccer team, 40% also play on the travel team. How many of the girls on the middle school team also play on the travel team? So like I said in the beginning of the slides, we are going to identify first the information here. So 25 girls, we know that is the whole thing. Okay? This is a giveaway because it has the percent sign. So we have the percent. Okay? Now remember, what are those parts? We have the whole, we have the percent, we have the part. It's asking you how many girls. Okay? So this is what we're looking for. The part. Okay? Another way, 2 different ways to use on this problem. Okay? So let's use this strategy right here. The grid, the 10 by 10 grid. It's 10 going across, it's 10 going down. This whole thing is 100%. Okay? So that means to say this is 10%, 20%, 30, until we get to 100%. So that means to say that each of these squares is 1%, because if it's a 10 by 10, that's 100. Okay? So each of these columns right here represents 10%. Now, according to the problem, what is the whole thing? The whole thing is 25 girls. Okay? So how do I divide this if I have a 10 by 10 grid? So 25 girls, that means to say these 2 columns right here should be 5. Okay? I'll get another 2 columns right here. They have to have the same size. This is another 5, so that makes it 10. Get another here, 15. Get another here, 20. And there you go, 25. So each of this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 girls. Okay, what is the question? How many of the girls is also on the travel team? So according to the problem, 40% of them. Okay, so this comprises 40%. So if that is 40%, that would be 10 girls. Voila. 10 girls is also on the travel team. And that is by using a 10 by 10 grid. So is that something you think you can do confidently, work on confidently and get the answer right? All right, so we had tape diagram, we had double line diagram, we have the 10 by 10 grid, and then let's try a new one. Okay. What else? What other strategy can we use? Let me put this on this side. All right, equation. Okay, so everybody is familiar with an equation. All right, so part, whole, and percent. So let's set up our equation. Using an equation, we need the part, we need the whole thing, and it should be, since an equation, equivalent to or equals the percent over the whole thing. What is the whole thing when it comes to percent? You're right, 100%. Okay, so all we need to do is, based on this information, let us set up our equation. So it's the part there. It says how many girls, or how many of the girls on the middle school team also play on a travel team. So that means to say, I am looking for the part. So there's my question mark right there. The whole thing, what's the total number of girls? Is 25. Okay, so I'm just plugging in all this information. Okay, that 25 represents 100%, correct? And therefore, it also needed a percent, which is also given in the problem, which is the 40%. So now I plugged it in. That is what we are looking for, the part. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself, since this is an equation, both sides of the equation has to be equivalent. What do I do to 25 to get to 100? You are right, times 4. Correct? 25 times 4 is 100. So what I do in the denominator, I'm going to do the same thing on the top. This is also times 4. But what do I multiply to 4 to get a 40? You are correct. 10. Okay. So this question mark equals 10. 10 times 4 is 40. So you see, 10 of the girls also played on or play on the travel team. So, equation. Is that something you think you can do and confidently answer word problems in percent? So there are 4 choices now. Okay. Tape diagram, double line diagram. What else did we do? 10 by 10 grid and an equation. So with all those 4 choices, I bet you can solve any percent problem. All right, let's take a look at this one. The Alden Middle School girls soccer team won 80% of its games this season. If the team won 12 games, how many games did it play? So let's solve it, but let's try to think of what are the given in the word problem. The percent is there, okay? The team won 12 games. So that 80% represents the 12 games. So 12 times 80, all right? I'm sorry, 12 games represents 80%. The question is, how many games did it play? So are we looking for the percent? Nope, percent is there. Are we looking for the part? No, because the 12 games represents the 80%, and since 80% is part of the 100%, 12 is also part of the whole thing. So what we are looking for is the whole thing, okay? So let's use an equation here. What did I say? Part over the whole thing is equivalent to the percent over 100%, okay? So the part is what we know is the 12 games, which represents the 80%, correct? So 80% out of 100, out of the whole thing. This is what we're looking for. How many games did it play? So in the previous example, we said something like, what do I do from this side to get to this side, okay, using multiplication. So I don't see the compatibility of 12 to 80, okay? And then I don't know what this is to get to 100. So I can also use what we learned. I think this is in module 2. Oh no, this is module 1, I believe. Equivalent ratio, okay? So this is 80% over 100. 80 over 100, I can just simplify that to what? 4/5. Yep. 4 times 20 is 80. 5 times 20 is 100. So 80 over 100 is 4/5. So I'm going to do this. Now, do you think we can solve for the missing term? Yes. What's going on here? What do I do to 4 to get to 12? Times 3. So all I need to do, 5 times 3 is 15. So there you go. 15 is the total number of games they played. And 12 of those games they won. And that 12 is actually 80% of the whole game. Okay, so they played 15. So you can do another method. You can choose from tape diagram. You can choose double line diagram. You can also use the 10 by 10 grid. So there are 4, right? There are 4 choices. All right. This one we have no time to answer because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 missing terms on the table. I want you, if you can pause this, if you are watching on YouTube, you can pause this and you look at the problem and then complete that table. All right, let's talk about this. There are 60 animal exhibits at the local zoo. What percent? That's a giveaway. This is what you're looking for, okay? The zoo's exhibits does each animal class represent, okay? So this is the number of exhibits right here, and this is the percent. So if these animals are part of the whole thing, so you have the part, okay? And it's asking you the percent. What is the whole thing? What is the whole thing? So all this, you put them all together, is your whole. Okay? You got the part, and then it's asking you the percent. So if you can pause and you can look at it closely, then do this at home. Okay? All right. So tell me, which of the strategies do you think works best for you? All right, go ahead and find some percent problems at home and see what you will use and be confident in answering those questions. So once again, this is Miss Plata. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye. Stay safe.